Welcome to your mat. Let's start on our knees here and maybe tuck your toes underneath your butt so you get a little foot stretch. And the vinyasa literally means to count in Sanskrit. And so we're counting our breaths as we flow between different poses. In the traditional sun salutation, which is an extended version of the vinyasa, we're going through 7 different poses and linking those with 5 breaths. Every inhale and every exhale transitions you from one pose to the next. And we use it in traditional Ashtanga yoga to keep the heat in our body, as well as kind of reset our spine, because we do a spinal extension and spinal flexion throughout these poses. And so we do a long hold and maybe a seated pose, a hard stretch, and then go through a vinyasa to build that heat back up and reset our spine. So we're just going to be talking a little bit about some of these poses, being the upward facing dog, downward facing dog, some variations of those two, as well as the plank and the high and low push-up. But if we're sitting here in our knees, just getting comfortable, taking some nice big deep breaths and starting to warm up our spine, starting with the cervical spine, your neck, just rolling your head in a big circle, nice and slow in one direction. Maybe twisting, shaking your head no, nodding your head yes. Side to side, ear to shoulder. Just move nice and easy. Close your eyes, put your mind into your body. My feet are starting to burn. Untuck my toes. And shoulder rolls. Adding a little bit of a lift in the chest, followed by a rounding of the spine. Extending and flexing. And move with your breath. Inhale and look up. Arch your back. Exhale, round your spine. Bring that movement through your whole spine as well as into your shoulders and your neck. Linking breath to movement is a great way to bring yourself into the present moment. Connect with your body, learn how to listen to your body, as well as just focus on the here and the now and what you're doing, not thinking about other things. Just a good practice for paying attention. All right, our spine's a little bit warmed up. Stay on your knees, but come forward onto your hands into a tabletop position. So try to aim your knees underneath your hips and your hands underneath shoulders. And tuck your toes and then lift your knees, and you should be in a pretty good plank length. Maybe you need to adjust a little bit so that your spine is in a straight line and you're in the top of a push-up. One thing you can think about in this push-up is external rotation of your arms. That means I'm corkscrewing my hands outwards. They're not moving, but the elbow crease of my arm is rotating to face, through the inside to face forward. So that motion helps your scapulas to drop down onto your back and just gives you a harder, stronger frame in jiu-jitsu, a post on the mat, and keeps everything more in line. So we're here in a high plank. And as we lower down to our belly, if you need to drop your knees, just keep that spine nice and straight. Don't let your butt sag. Keep everything tight here. And as your elbows bend to about 90 degrees, they stay tight to your ribs. Don't let them flare out to the side. So lower all the way down to your belly. And now we're going to start with a little baby cobra here. Instead of the full big back bend, we're just going to warm up by lifting your hands off the mat and looking up, using the lower back muscles to create a nice little back bend. Take a breath. Lower all the way back down. Let your head rest on the mat. Do one more time, this time pushing a little bit with your hands, bringing a little bit more lift into your chest. Let it go. And moving with your breath. So the inhale is going to arch your back. And the exhale, release. This time, after you inhale and arch your back, tuck your toes, exhale, and push back into a child's pose. I guess you don't really need to tuck your toes there, and sit back onto your heels and let your head hang heavy. Take a deep breath here. So this is an option for, instead of downward facing dog in your flow, you always have the choice to go to a child's pose. This lets your arms relax. And then it's easy to transition from here into a downward facing dog as well. So we'll go there by coming forward, tucking your toes. And as we lift into our first downward dog, make sure we're keeping fingers spread wide so you have nice big hands, and keep your knees bent. So as your hips lift up very, very high, your knees stay bent, and your chest and your head are able to drop heavy. Really wanting to keep a long spine extended straight from fingertips to tailbone. And then once your spine is nice and straight and you feel your shoulders not rounding too much, if you feel that rounding, keep your knees bent and just work on sinking the shoulders low. And if you know your back is straight, you can start to straighten your legs a little bit. Taking a nice deep breath here, head hanging heavy. And rocking forward to the plank. Take a breath here. Drop your knees down, untuck your toes. Let's go back to a child's pose. Coming forward into a tabletop. And tuck your toes once again. Lift into a plank. Elbows tight to your ribs. Spinning external rotation on your arms. And hug the elbows into your ribs as you lower down, belly to the mat. Untuck your toes. Press your hands into the mat. Peel your chest forward and up. Look up. Maybe straighten your arms. If you feel pinching in your low back, don't go so high. Tuck your toes. Lift your hips. Keep your knees bent. In your dog. So now we're familiar with some of these positions. Let's start to link them with our breath. So inhale, forward to a plank. Exhale, lower down to your belly. Inhale, untuck your toes, lift your chest. Exhale, tuck your toes, lift your hips. One more time. Inhale, plank. Exhale, low plank. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Lower back to your knees. Untuck your toes. So that's 4 poses in 2 breaths. And that's basically your vinyasa. So one of the things that makes a vinyasa fun is floating back, and then jumping through. So this is really building strength in the arms here. We're going to start on our knees and just practice trying to keep your heels touching your butt and lifting yourself up off the mat. So leaning forward into your hands and lifting your legs up. And so we'll do it on an exhale. So I would be inhale, up, exhale, jump my legs back to that low plank. Inhale, arch your spine. Exhale, downward dog. And now we have our jump through if we're staying in a seated position. So bending your knees and sending your hips forward as your legs come back to that kneeling position. You can also, if we're going to sit seated on our butts, keep your legs lifted and kick them all the way through. So a bit more advanced. From a cross-legged, you can just plant your hands in front, press up, and float back. Get a little playful with it. You can even add handstands into this flow. But let's meet in downward facing dog here. And instead of jumping forward, just walk 1 foot at a time up to meet your hands. Let your knees bend enough that your belly hangs onto your thighs. Your head hangs heavy. This is the next pose that we're adding to the sequence, forward fold. Your hands can be next to your feet, out in front of your feet a little bit. Your feet can be hip width apart, or they can be touching too, is okay. A little bit trickier for the balance. Stretching the entire back of your body, your spine. Your head is pulling down on your spine, so you're getting a lengthening in your spine. And your hamstrings and your calves are getting a stretch. Next pose, we're going to an extended forward fold. So usually on an inhale, we're going to look up, hands coming to shins and making a flat back parallel with the ground. Take a couple breaths here. You can have your hands on the mat here too. This is okay. To bring my hands to my shin, my back's a little bit flatter, I feel. On your next exhale, fold forward once again. Really connecting belly to thighs, head hanging heavy. Now we're going to roll all the way back up to standing and even raise our hands over our head, all on one inhale. So starting with your tailbone, round your spine, roll up, lift your arms, and exhale, just drop your arms and stand. Maybe you've heard Samastitihi, Sanskrit for equal standing pose. Your feet, again, under your hips or big toes touching, a little bit of space between your heels. It's kind of the traditional position. But just close your eyes here, let your shoulders drop down on your back. Feel the four corners of each of your feet connected solidly to the mat. Yep, standing is a yoga pose. All right, we're going to move through the full sun salutation here. Nice and slow though. We might take a couple breaths along the way. So from equal standing, inhale, arms up, look up, a little bit of a back bend. Exhale, folding over your legs, head hangs, hands to the mat. Inhale, flatten your spine and look forward, hands to shins. Exhale, plant your hands, step back to a high plank. Take one breath here. And then exhale and lower all the way down to your body. Keep those elbows nice and squeezed in tight. Untuck your toes. Inhale, back bend. Upward facing dog, you lift your knees a little bit. But cobra, you keep your knees on the mat. Tuck your toes, lift your hips, exhale to dog. And traditionally, Ashtanga, we take 5 breaths here, building a lot of strength in our arms, as well as inverting the body, putting the head below the heart, changing some of the blood flow, stretching the back sides of our legs, tend to be a tight place. It's the reason why this pose is so common in yoga. It's really important. And I know mine's not perfect, but it took me a long time even to get here. So don't give up, keep practicing. You can lower your knees to the mat and let the shoulders sink heavy. This is a puppy dog. I really like this version. Similar pose. And child's pose always an option too if you're getting tired. We're going to work on a, not jump through, but jump back. So a float. As you bend your knees, look forward between your hands and inhale, jumping all the way to that flat back, that halfway lift. Halfway lift from a forward fold on an inhale, and exhale, fold. Inhale, roll all the way up to extended standing. Arms over your head, look up. Exhale, and just stand. All right, let's keep flowing. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees. Head hang. Inhale, hands to shin, flat back, look up. Exhale, plant. Big hand, spread your fingers and jump back to a plank. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, arch your back, look up. Exhale, tuck your toes, bend your knees, push your hips back. Now, a lot of times we build yoga sequences around this foundational flow by adding more standing poses into this. Let's do a nice little lunge. So right foot lifts, kick it up and back, and then swing it through, planting it outside of your right hand. So you've got a good wide base. Make any adjustments you need so it feels pretty good. Lower your back knee, untuck the back toe, lift your chest, arms up, sink your hips low. Should be a nice combination of work and stretch. Hands back down. Inhale, pull your chest forward. Exhale, straighten your front leg. Fold forward. Move with your breath. Inhale, come forward into your low lunge. Look up. Exhale, straighten your right leg. Send your hips back. Stretch the right hamstring. Inhale, come forward. Exhale back. One more time. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, hamstring stretch. Tuck your back toes, lift that knee. Let's do a quick twist. So left hand plants firm into the mat, right arm up to the sky. Take a couple breaths. Hand back down, right leg back to a plank. Let's move through a vinyasa. So exhale, low plank. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left foot outside of left hand. Drop your back knee. Untuck your back toes. Sink your hips as you raise your arms up to the sky. Hands back down inside of your left foot. We'll move with our breath. Inhaling, pulling your chest forward. And exhaling, straightening your left leg, Lift your toes, bend forward. Only go as loud, as deep, or as far as your body allows you to. Using the breath, the movement, the positions to listen to your body, communicate, talk with your body, see what it's saying to you, see what you can ask it to do, exploring range of motion. One last one. Inhale, sink your hips low, lift your chest. And exhale, straighten your left leg, fold forward over your left leg. Nice. Spread your fingers wide, make those hands nice and big, pressing your pointer finger mound into the mat. Tuck your right toes, press your right hand, lift your left hand. Twisted lunge, breathe. Maybe even looking up to your left hand. Nice. Let's flow. Exhale, low plank. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, down dog. Practice a jump forward, so bend your knees, look between your thumbs. Inhale, exhale, exhale, bend your knees. Inhale, jump, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale all the way up, arms overhead. Look. Exhale, equal standing. All right, let's flow one more time. Inhale, arms up. Close your eyes. Exhale, forward fold. Listen to your body. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, all the way to a low plank. Inhale, back bend. Exhale, down dog. Or a child's pose if you're dying. Take a couple breaths here. Next exhale, bend your knees. Inhale, jump to the front of your mat. Look up. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up. And exhale, let it go. All right, join me in a nice low squat here. Hands to your chest. Bend your knees, squatting all the way down. Arms inside of your knees. It's okay if you're on the balls of your feet. Try to keep the weight back. Try to keep your chest lifting. Adding a twist, straighten your left arm inside of your left leg. Raise your right arm up. Press your tricep into your leg. Back to center. Lift your chest. Proud posture. Right arm straight, hand to the mat. Twist to the left. Lift your left arm, look to your left hand. Nice, let that go. Sit to your butt, feet together in front. Cobbler's pose, butterfly stretch. Hands to your feet. Make your spine nice and straight. Use your leg muscles to open your hips, pushing your knees down to the mat. Close your eyes and breathe. And from here, walking your elbows back and lowering your back to the mat. Keep your feet connected, reclined, cobbler's pose, just letting gravity open up your hips. Take your right hand to your belly, left hand to your chest. Tuck your shoulder blades underneath your back. And we'll end our practice in this really nice restorative pose. Just taking deep breaths in and out through your nose, eyes closed, feeling your body. This Vinyasa Flow sun salutation sequence is a great way to start your day, a great way to warm up your spine before jiu-jitsu, a great way to reset your spine after jiu-jitsu. Just a really nice way to keep your spine strong and healthy, as well as develop a little bit of strength in your upper body, your arms. It goes a long way in life. This sequence of poses has been around for a long time and was developed so that people could cure themselves, fix their bodies, heal themselves. And this sequence especially is really good for us Westerners who spend a lot of time in chairs. People in India or Asia tend to squat a lot more, that deep squat that's difficult for a lot of us. And sit cross-legged on the ground. These things keep our spine a little bit stronger and give us a better foundation when we sit in a chair. The glute muscles turn off and we end up with lower back problems, middle back problems. Upper body is weak and we don't have a strong spine. And that creates a lot of problems. So just doing this flow along with as much other yoga as you can do, but even a few sun salutations a day it's like medicine for your spine, for your body, for your life. So stay here in this pose if you feel really good, as long as you want. We're about a half hour through, so I just want to say thank you very much for joining me. Hope you learned something. Hope your body feels nice. Whether you're joining us live here this Sunday or watching this, I don't know, years down the line. If this practice brought you some joy, feel free to help us out with a donation. Just a cup of coffee's worth is all we ask for. And if you can't do that, no worries. Just happy to see you, feel you, and share this practice with you. So for Wellness for Jiu-Jitsu, I'm Submission Yogi. Join me next time, next week, Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern. Namaste. Oos.